Welcome to our presentation about enabling digital co-creation in urban planning and development. My name is Daniel Kulos, and together with my colleague Bianca Lüders, we'd like to give you an overview about our experiences on digital participation and the developments related to the project DIPAS in Hamburg. DIPAS is a research and development project started in 2018. Aim of the project is a new digital participation system which allows citizens to participate at planning processes from home, mobile, or during events. The project is managed by the Stadtwerkstatt, a staff unit within the Ministry for Urban Development and Housing in Hamburg, the Agency for Geoinformation and Surveying, and the City Science Lab of the Hanseatic University in Hamburg. DIPAS is open source and will be provided as a public code by the end of 2020. Starting point of the current development is the existing online participation tool, developed in a cooperation between the Stadtwerkstatt and the Agency for Geoinformation and Surveying in 2016. It is a web map application where citizens can post their ideas, comment ideas of others, and vote thumbs up or down. Since then, the tool has been used in over 40 planning processes by various state ministries, district authorities, and public development agencies. DIPAS consists of 4 elements. First, the online tool with its functions for collecting contributions online and on-site. The urban geodata platform of the city of Hamburg, which contains more than 300 data layers. A special strategy to gather citizens' contributions digitally at on-site events, and AI-based function to analyze and prepare contribution data from the participants, which we are currently working on. DIPAS also based on the experiences made with the Finding Places project of the Hanseatic University and the City Science Lab in 2016. In this participation process, which had the aim to find plots for refugee accommodations, more than 2,000 workshops with in total 400 citizens were carried out. A crucial factor in this workshop was the possibility to visualize specific urban data about land use, planning law, and ownership situation on the cityscope tables. The main benefit of the cityscope tables lay in the informed and reasonable discourses among citizens and experts. These experiences lead to the idea to develop a mobile system with similar abilities as the cityscope tables, especially in regard of the visualization of urban data for the widespread use in urban planning processes. For DIPAS, the stationary cityscopes were replaced by mobile touch tables, which are operated via a specially developed front end. The development of DIPAS was carried out in an iterative process with several development and piloting loops. In order to receive feedback from appliers as well as from end users already during the development, every development stage are tested in the usability study and real planning processes. In this presentation, we focus on gathering contributions at on-site events digitally. Up to now, a problem in the practice of cross-media participation processes is the media break between the analog feedback collected in workshops and feedback gathered online. It became evident that the system which works with digital information presentation on event, the collection of feedback in the events should not remain analog. The primary concept was to use the table surface as display and capture device. But this was very difficult to achieve because web applications by default have only one active window. That means that contributions had to be entered on an external peripherals using the interface of the existing online tool. The second configuration consisted a tablet, computer, and notebook as peripherals for contribution input, a 2D map, and data touch tables operated by a designated desk jockey, whose task is to supervise the interaction with the tables. To collect user feedback on the comprehensibility and handling of the clients and devices, a first usability study was undertaken in July 2018. The study comprised 25 participants. In groups of 5 to 7 persons, the participants tested the tables and devices provided for mobile input. Amongst others, the results indicated that the majority of the participants appreciated the playfulness of the touch tables and stated a very good and quick information capacity. On the other hand, the study also revealed challenges for the next development steps. So it became clear that the design of the input device masks needed improvement. Participants complained that area of the input masks are not visible on the tablets, and especially scrolling within the form is difficult. On this basis, a pilot deployment under live conditions took place in August 2018. The aim was to observe how unprepared citizens react to the devices and to verify the planned moderation and workshop concept. More than 200 citizens joined the event, of which 40 visited the 2 touch tables supplied. The observation at this event confirmed the result of the usability study, that the design of the ad contributions mask was perceived unhandy for touch devices like smartphones and tablets. This insight gave the development of a more intuitive input method a high priority for the following development iterations. Based on the experiences of the first pilot of DIPAS, the Hamburg subproject of Civitas Digitalis focused on optimizing mobile input on face-to-face events. The idea of an automated facilitation for the submission of contribution, a wizard-like chatbot, was conceptualized and implemented. This chatbot guides citizens step by step through the process of entering contributions based on the structure scheme, which leans on the form of the existing online participation tool. The second usability and user experience study with 24 invited test persons took place in April 2019. One objective of the study was the contribution mask and the chatbot. In this study, the participants were invited to use either the devices provided or their own smartphones. The opportunity to use the chatbot and especially the intuitive communication were highly appreciated. But the participants also mentioned that the arrangement and designation of control elements could be improved, as well as the sequence of contribution input and individual communication elements. The chatbot was tested under live conditions in the participation process for the Grasbrook development area, which consisted of 4 current planning workshops from November 2018 to March 2019, each with more than 200 participants. The chatbot was actively promoted to participants. They could either enter contributions on provided devices like tablets and laptops, or using their own smartphones by scanning a provided QR code. The observations showed that many citizens expected to articulate their input directly at the touch tables. To ensure the efficiency of the event, the moderators often took over the input of the contribution, using their own smartphones to type in the citizens' contributions. In total, 158 contributions were received online, of which 49 were created during the workshops using the participation assistant. The feedback regarding the chatbot was positive, but the number of contributions written by the participants themselves was comparably small. So we see this as an indication that the method for digital contribution input must be further improved. All participants' suggestions gathered during the usability studies and the pilots finally were taken into account in the version of the chatbot, as well as the redesign of the input procedure of the online participation tool, which now follows a step-by-step sequence as well. Beside the question how to collect contributions on events, we also work on smart AI-based functions for analyzing citizen contributions, which follows now.
As we have seen, the usability studies and pilots exhibited a great interest of citizens in digital participation methods and a large potential for future participation processes. However, 2 main challenges arise with the growing popularity of online participation. First, the accessibility and efficiency of contribution ideation. Currently, it is necessary to specify a contribution with several features by filling out a form, including the title, category, and quality of the contribution. The usability studies have shown that some users experience difficulties in this process, and as we want to encourage as many people from very diverse groups to participate, the ideation process needs to be simplified. Second, we see that the number of submitted ideas increases significantly through online participation. This is exactly what we want, but the requirements regarding the treatment of the collected information remain the same. It is still necessary to systematically evaluate the complex citizen feedback and opinions, to classify and summarize contributions, and to structure, prioritize, and cluster ideas and develop recommended actions. Both challenges can be tackled, and we currently experiment with the application of advanced data processing techniques from the field of machine learning. Here, we focus on natural language processing, which combines computer science and linguistics and refers to the ability of a computer program to process, understand, and even produce human language as it is spoken or written. Focusing on the ideation of contributions, we evaluated different means to enable a more accessible, easy, and efficient participation, such as the chatbot mentioned before. Our goal is to achieve a status in which the bare contribution text suffices to fill all other data fields. Here we started with the headline. To unburden users from having to think about an adequate summarization of their contribution, we evaluated two approaches to automatically generate a title for a contribution text. The basic idea of summarization is to express the content of a document in a condensed form while containing as many key aspects as possible, given a certain length limit. Two different approaches are common for this. While extractive approaches combine the most meaningful text segments, abstractive approaches generate a summary based on a semantic representation of the document. Here, we developed and implemented a combinational approach, which concatenates verbal indicators of the mentioned location, street or quarter name, with the text segment of the most important keyword based on TF-IDF and part-of-speech tagging. We compared the results to the outcomes of an abstractive approach based on word embeddings and encoder-decoder methods, which was, due to only 3,000 contributions at that time, additionally trained with another dataset. To evaluate the generated headlines, we used Rouge 1, which is one of the most widely used evaluation metrics in text summarization and measures similarities between the generated and human-written reference summaries. To combine recall and precision, we employ the F1 score, where you can see the formula on the slide. And we found that while the abstractive summaries exhibit a significant overfitting to news keywords, the combinational approach resulted in a F1 score of 17% compared to a score of the original headline of 27%. So, even though the computed scores from the evaluation may not be very high yet, the generated headlines have shown to be sufficiently informative and usable for upcoming studies or pilots in live environments. In summary, we see that digital participation platforms have a lot of potential for increasing the reach and depth of participation processes, paving the way towards actual co-creation. Services based on NLP could be the key for faster and better processing of information. First tests with the classification of contributions and the generation of headlines have shown that it can support both the ideation and the evaluation of contributions. Currently, we have significantly improved the recognition of streets and quarters and also have a lot more training data available, such that upcoming developments of DIPAS may include the headline generation feature and support its evaluation at the same time. As the system would suggest a title while still offering the user to manually edit it, an evaluation of the title acceptance and edit rates will help to evaluate and further improve the summarization service. We also see several additional starting points to use NLP in the evaluation of contributions. For instance, a relevance score could help to pre-organize the contributions by content, relevance, and potential. Furthermore, we have also seen that touch tables are extremely powerful tools to enhance on-site workshop discussions. Thus, we are constantly improving the visualization of the underlying geodata to allow a better immersion. We already gathered some experiences with 3D city models and 3D urban designs at real participation workshops. What we could ascertain is that 3D really helps participants to understand the planner's perspective. For this, we would like to test different augmented and virtual reality approaches in combination with our 3D models and are excited to see how these technologies might further upgrade digital citizen participation.